everybody. Hello, Noga.
Hi, Geek.
So we are here to review Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 5. We also the episode. Later in the video, rant a little bit about the things that didn't work, but this is Goth Academy. So we wanted to find interesting things to talk about, to take away from the episode, and to academize a little bit, and learn something.
Take a look to the sky just before you die. It's the last time you will.
Noga, you are working on your PhD in psychoanalysis
And hermeneutics.
and hermeneutics. Talk about her madness.
Okay, so I don't think it was madness.
Was it a rational decision?
It definitely wasn't a rational decision, but it definitely wasn't something that you can say that she somehow lost her ability to test reality.
Differentiate right from wrong.
We know that her dad was different because Jamie said that he thought that if he dies, then he might rise up from the ashes.
Right.
Like his whole idea of what dying is and what burning is was distorted. She knows exactly what it is, yet she chooses to do it anyway, not really out of rational choice, because in psychoanalysis we don't believe in rationality.
Otherwise you wouldn't have a job.
Yeah, exactly.
So what was it?
I think that it was narcissistic rage. In the last review we made, we talked about being mad, crazy, and mad, angry.
Okay.
And narcissistic rage is a bit like that, is being enraged with anger.
Rock and roll, master roar, build the crumbling sky. Jack the door, build the soul where the ruthless cry.
Okay, so explain a little bit this narcissistic injury.
So it's a concept first termed by Heinz Kohut, and he talked about the need to have healthy narcissism, that we need to feel appreciated and loved and to see our good parts acknowledged by others.
Right.
And what's happening to Daenerys? I mean, the thing that she's losing this episode, she's been losing throughout the season.
Losing and losing and losing.
But she's losing love, right? She's losing the appreciation, the admiration of others towards her. We see her mourning. But Freud would say that she's not being mournful, she's being melancholic. And the difference that he makes is mourning is as a natural process. Like we can think about her mourning Missandei and Jorah.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be very natural, of course,
Right.
and But in this case, it's more than that. It's like melancholy is the process where you still miss and you can't really say goodbye to the parts of yourself that you invested in the person or object that is now gone.
Like the way that she sees herself through Missandei's eyes, for example.
The way she sees herself through Missandei's eyes, through Jorah's eyes, through
The
everyone.
color, breaker of chains.
Breaker of chains, right? And no one sees her that way. They see her as a foreigner, as an invader. And also she lost John's love, which is kind of devastating. I mean, she came there for love.
He doesn't seem to love her anymore.
No. With John, it's very interesting in the sense that...
Interesting,
yeah, that's very interesting. In the sense that John really likes strong women. Like, we saw him with Ygritte, and, he fell for Daenerys, and he's like bend the knee and all submissive and this and that, and he loves that. But when she's in need and she's vulnerable, and then
becomes
he's
a
like,
douche.
oh, it's like,
Yeah.
it's like, it's a turn off. I mean,
Yeah,
what, you
yeah.
need a hug now? What, are you weak, So there's this kind of like,
This is D&D spilling their guts and their souls through John.
needy women,
Yeah. We like you better strong.
Yeah, we like you when you're strong, you know what you want, you're successful, people admire you. Now no one,
So how does losing love create rage? What's the missing link there?
I mean, with Daenerys, it's like she said, it's either love or fear. You're not going to give me the love, so you might as well fear from me. I might as well show you that I am stronger.
Right. And the fear and love, I thought it was very, very interesting. Not interesting, but interesting because we actually did a video about Daenerys and Jon talking about fear or love. This is a Machiavellian dilemma in his book, The Prince. A prince, basically a ruler, should he or she prefer to be feared or to be loved. He said if you have to choose either or, it's better to be feared because love is more fickle. Somebody loves you today, doesn't love you tomorrow. We saw that with John's love
The
to
Northerners
Daenerys.
also.
Yeah. This is exactly how love is fickle as a ruler. Fear is more useful, but Machiavelli, he warned the ruler against going too far.
People should neither think he is soft and easy to disobey, nor should they find him so cruel that he disgusts his society.
Now they see what will be blinded eyes to see. For whom the bell tolls.
If you become loathed, then people will just wait for the right opportunity to take you out. You have to, if not be merciful, at least seem merciful to control your subjects. We will see in the next episode, either Ariel or John will take her out.
Yeah, and this is also like the Hegelian battle, right, between master and slave, and the fact that the master cannot ever truly feel safe. Like, even though he's the master, he's the strongest one, he's still afraid because he's the master that someone will try to take it away from him.
Right. You told me when we were preparing for the video that when you base your rule on inspiring fear, you yourself become fearful.
Yeah, because you know treason is everywhere. People can turn on you. People can stab you in the back. I mean, you're never safe in that sense.
Another thing that we thought while watching this episode, so we are here in Tel Aviv, Israel. So we know, sadly, all too well, the dynamics of conflict, how it's easy to succumb to the thirst for revenge, to get back at the people who you think have wronged you, and how it's a very slippery slope, revenge, and then...
Yeah. What is it good for? Absolutely. Yeah.
It just made me think of how people from the outside can look at the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and say, why can't you just get along? We would like everybody to get along. We are pro-peace, pro-compromise. But when you live in a conflict, it's easier to be like Grey Worm than to be blinded by your rage. And you can explain your rage. Your rage makes sense. It's not illogical. You're not crazy. But it's definitely not useful. Definitely not right. And when Grey Worm started to butcher those Lannisters, it reminded me of this video with this guy that starts to dance on a field like full of people, and nobody dances with him. And then somebody joins him, and a few minutes later, everybody dances. And in the YouTube video about it,
Now here comes the first follower with a crucial role. See, it takes guts to be a first follower. Being a first follower is an underappreciated form of leadership. The first follower transforms a lone nut into a leader.
so Daenerys, she's the first guy that's dancing. When he goes overboard and commits war crimes, basically it gives everybody the authorization and the okay to kill and rape and sack the city completely, just like rape everybody. And then, of course, D&D just had to put little girls and babies everywhere just to... If we didn't yet understand that burning the city and sacking it wrong, it's just like children. Okay, we got it. But also, it was just like...
I was in King's Landing after the sack, Khaleesi. You know what I saw? Butchery. Babies, children, old men, more women raped than you can count. There's a beast in every man, and it stirs when you put a sword in his hand. But the Unsullied are not men. They do not rape. We do not put cities to the sword unless they're ordered to do so.
Basically, Grey Worm was more responsible for the sacking of the city than Daenerys. If everybody would have stayed back, she would just be burning.
I guess this is why they castrate them. Because, I mean, Grey Worm also told me Sunday in one of the previous seasons,
I fear I never again see Miss Sunday from the island of North.
that now he's afraid because he has something to lose because he's met her. And this whole thing of feelings getting in the way is something that they try to prevent by preventing.
Right. So women are the problem, basically. That's what they're saying here.
Well, feelings are the problem, and women incite feelings because we're so.
Okay, so let's go back to Daenerys. So Miguel Sapochnik, the director, basically he just gets the shittiest scripts from D&D, and he's like, "What the fuck am I going? How am I going to make that work?" He did an incredible job. It must be said. The shots in the city, no?
Yeah, like the shots, he's amazing. Like when it comes to like, but like the dialogues, he doesn't direct very well. There's this like melodramatic tone always to it.
It was super apparent that Daenerys was supposed to be so bad, just like the super baddie, super evil, that she basically barely appeared in the episode. She was there at the beginning. And then once, when she decided to burn everybody, even though they surrendered because she has to be super, super bad, she can't just be conflicted or something. She just, like, there always has to be a Night King in this show. Bold prediction, the next Night King and the final Night King will be Sansa. Whatever. So they just like barely showed her. It was just like Drogon burning, just like to make it very distant, and we're not able to empathize with her.
Right.
I didn't like that choice actually. It was simplistic.
I mean that you don't see the pilot. It doesn't feel like there's someone inside, but there is. And
Do you remember the quote from the former chief of the IDF?
Yeah.
That how does it feel to bomb, to drop a 1-ton bomb on a target? A little flap on the wings.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, one of the most miserable sayings in the Israeli culture.
So this also reminded us a little bit of conflicts between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. Cersei, she used all the people there as human shields. This is something that is interesting in conflict, that sometimes weakness can be strength. So she was like, look at me, I'm so weak. We have all the people here who are defenseless, and this will be my defense, our weakness. And so Hamas, not wanting to defend anything that is done in these conflicts, but so you have, so they're shooting from schools, next to hospitals, and we're bombing the schools, the hospitals, other hospitals, whatever. But this dynamic of using your weakness as strength, and also usually there's a dynamic when you are like, stronger sides in conflicts almost never in the modern era use their full force. The US could go into Afghanistan and just drop 5 hydrogen bombs, there's nothing there. Or bomb Iraq or whatever, Yemen or whatever. If you use your full strength, then it's like in the book Alay Varon, blindness, what's the name in English?
I think on blindness.
On blindness. There's one of the blind guys, he's the natural blind, he has a gun. And once he starts shooting the gun, every bullet that he shoots, he becomes less strong because he uses this ultimate power. So once she used this ultimate power, it was like whatever, either carpet bombing or Hiroshima and Nagasaki, whatever, she becomes less strong. Hiroshima and Nagasaki, you can talk about it for hours and hours. But they didn't bomb Tokyo or Kyoto. On the other side, they didn't bomb an island or the ocean or just one city. They bombed 2, but then accepted the surrender.
No, I mean, we're not even sure that Daenerys still wants to rule. I mean, rule over whom? Rule from
Ashes
where?
and bones.
Ashes and bones, right. I mean, it's just like, just burn them all, just, fuck it.
So Cersei and Jaime, really unsatisfactory conclusion to their arcs. Jaime was totally undermined and like, what are you doing? He said, I don't care about, I never cared much for innocent lives. Really?
Burn them all, he said. Burn them in their homes, burn them in their beds. Women and children burned alive. Would you have done it? Would you have kept your oath then?
And also, just like the randomness of him finding Cersei, of all the people in the Red Keep, And I felt like their death was just like D&D going through whatever message boards and YouTube videos, theories, and just seeing, okay, so it can't be murder-suicide, he can't kill her to defend the city, to save the city. Just like going through all the predictions, and okay, there's one prediction that nobody made. He meets Euron, who miraculously was the only one to survive this battle. You think that he's dead, that Jaime is dead, he's not dead. Euron just like the most useless, boring character ever.
So boring.
So boring. He can't get into the city, but then he meets Euron, then he goes up, and then he finds her, and then they go all the way down, and then they just... die hugging from, like, so passive and so...
In a way, you can say, they were buried alive, returning to the womb together, the tomb, the womb, the twins hugging. I mean, you
Okay.
can say
You found
that.
something.
I
Good.
found something, yay!
Yes.
Yay!
Hit like!
But yeah, it was kind of, I thought it would be a murder-suicide, like murder out of protection,
Right,
you're
that
losing.
would be better.
Yeah.
Okay, so Cleganebowl. I was never a fan of the Cleganebowl. We don't understand why the mountain killed Dr. Frankenstein. It doesn't really explain anything, whatever. He's supposed. Why isn't he not under your control anymore? Well, but I also found something to appreciate during the Cleganebowl is when the Hound thought that he finally killed his brother, his tormentor, did the one thing that he thought would make him happy. First time that he laughed in the entire show. And for me, it was just like a bitter laugh, as if understanding, and we mentioned it in our psychoanalyzing video of the Hound on the couch. I brought up killing his brother as a solution to his problem. And you, maybe as a medical professional, you thought that it's frowned upon to...
I wasn't I'm not a medical professional, like a clinic.
Yeah, a clinical professional, sorry. You thought that it was maybe out of bounds to suggest to a patient to kill their brother, whatever. I don't know how you guys do your work there. But we were mentioning that there's his inner brother that he can't kill. Like his wounds are already his. Mm-hmm. This was basically a futile enterprise. Everything already happened. This doesn't solve anything. And then them again just like dying together is again just like checking to see which prediction was never made. It's like there was another person in the writer's room the whole time. Mm-hmm. That was like the viewer. Meh. We want to talk about how it was so easy all of a sudden to destroy all the scorpions after they were so effective the last time. Did we want to talk about it?
The scorpions?
The big bolts.
Right, the things.
The woman dying. This again, just like very, tropey methods to make us care about all this carnage, because a million people, you don't care about a million people, you care about one person. And this reminds me, I think I told you this story. My editor of my novel, she told me that once when her daughter was like 6, 7, 8, whatever, she came back home and she said, "Mommy, we learned today about Hitler. You wouldn't believe it. He killed 6 Jews." 6.
That's so cute.
Oh, that's so cute and so good because
she was shocked.
She was shocked
for 6 people,
and somehow the 6 in some ways is more drives the point better than the 6 million, because like 6 people, you can understand what it means to kill 6 people. So that's basically the thing.
Right.
We'll do a reaction video to D&D's inside the episode. There we're gonna rant. So if you're looking for a rant, boom, we're gonna rant like hell there. Here in this video, we thought, okay, you come in to watch a GOT Academy video. You can find all kinds of rants everywhere. We wanted to give you some added value.
We want to be special.
We want to be special, feel special. So if you feel that we're special, please hit like. And speaking of special, this week I'm going to post a very special offer. A collaborative offer, enterprise. I'm not going to say any more about it. Just hit subscribe to not miss that video and other videos. So I hope this week or next week when I post a father, so I hope either this week or next week we're going to post the father archetype in movies. We're going to launch philosophy in movies videos. We're going to start with 2 videos with the Truman Show. The first one this week, the next one next week. Another Avengers podcast on the Goth Academy podcast about Captain America. Which one of the Captain America movies is the best? We're talking about, I had a great conversation with Theo Gangi, so check out our podcast. And thank you for watching. And we'll see you all very, very soon. Bye, everybody. Goth Academy is sponsored by our patrons.